it's September 2020 and oh my God, there's so much chaos happening right now. People are purging, working through their emotions, and the best thing to see is that everyone is healing and they're actually anchoring in higher frequencies. So it's so amazing to see. This is a little update on our little ET extraterrestrial beings that are maybe not of this world. So we've been going out nightly as always and going under the stars, and last night was really slow at the beginning, but then it was just like boom, boom, boom. We're just seeing all of these flying objects across the sky, and some that would fly and then just completely go to nothing, zero. So definitely not satellites. We saw 2 planes with flashing red lights and we could hear those, but all the other moving objects, there was about 14 all up last night, this is. That's not including the planes, by the way. These are all unidentified moving objects, and they were all silent and they were all acting odd. So like going across the sky and blacking out completely. We see the light and then nothing. Going zigzag like this. A couple other ones were going overhead and, flying together in sync. So it's sync in synchronicity. It's just so exciting. We just are so fascinated and interested in life beyond Earth, and we've just been living in such a density that we have all forgotten where we came from, what past lives we had, and as different beings, as different people, or like who knows, we're still learning. So it's such an exciting journey to rediscover all of this information.
I was listening to Joe Rogan recently, and he was doing an interview with the guys who made a movie on Bob Lazar and some of the crash site recovery team's stories. And basically there's a whole team out there who run around, and whenever an unidentified object hits the ground, they're there first and study craft, reverse engineering, study what they say could be bodies that have been captured and recovered, and they do all these different studies. It was a big long chat on it, and the talk was, but so few people sort of see these things in the night sky. So few people have encounters. People who do claim to be abducted usually can't remember, and all of this stuff. It brings me to this point though of, just because you can't see it doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. We really only can see a very narrow band between red and violet with our outer senses. We can only hear a little bit, 20 to 20,000 hertz. Like a dog can hear a dog whistle and it turns around and looks because it's hearing above 20,000 hertz. And of course, if you've got infrared goggles on, it expands your field of vision. And of course, with infrared, when people view the night sky, they see all sorts of lights that we miss through our physical eye. Even if you use your camera to view the sky or to view a room when there's a lot of deep meditation going on, they'll often show up orbs and different colors of energy, and they can't all be explained by refractions on the camera lens. That it's picking up on things we don't see through our physical eye, or we can't hear through our ear. So often we get trapped into going that if people think that if I can't see it, it doesn't exist. And it stands to reason that if, during this time of the Great Awakening, during this time of disclosure of all this information coming out, that as we learn to raise our vibration and as we learn to be more sensitive, if we're learning to use this third eye, and that helps us to be more clairvoyant, and people get more prophetic dreams, they astral travel at night while they're asleep, if people are getting a lot more deja vu and all of this sort of thing and strong intuition, as we're learning to use our mind better and to raise our vibration up, doesn't it stand to reason that there could be a whole lot of things in a higher level of vibration that are just outside what we consciously can perceive?
Oh, so exciting.
Yeah. And maybe maybe people are starting to elevate. They talk about the elevation of consciousness here on the earth. Maybe we're getting our vibration up and we're starting to pick up on things. I mean, all of a sudden, the New York Times does a story on the fact that they have actually, the US government and the Pentagon has got information on UFO sightings in the sky, things that have hit the ground that are what they call not of this world. I mean, it's written up in the New York Times, it's run then across the world in different media sources, and people are sort of sitting there wondering whether to believe this or not. But guys, just because you can't see it or hear it or believe it doesn't mean there aren't things going on around us, and whatever we want to call them, right?
Light beings,
extraterrestrials, ETs. I mean, there could be all sorts of different things going on. And you study a little bit of ancient history, like the real ancient history, right? And you see the way these different temples and buildings were built, and the precision that was used, and the way they're lined up to the stars, and the geometry, and just the way that it's so mathematically perfect that even today we would struggle to do that. I mean, you've got to think, this probably ain't the first time around that we've been at these levels of consciousness. Yeah, maybe back then they didn't have mobile phones and they didn't have, whatever, air conditions and plastic containers and blah, blah, blah. But that doesn't mean that perhaps their level of consciousness wasn't perhaps even superior to ours, but in a different way, more caring, compassion, more understanding, more use of the Earth's magnetic field, more use of
this is
the
happening.
natural forces.
We just have all this intelligence hasn't been shared with us. And it's just such a great time to rediscover all of this stuff that everyone knows about this. It's just hidden by the emotional injuries of the third dimensional space. So you will elevate, you can elevate, and you can tap into your Akashic records and remember all of this great information. And it's such an exciting time to be here in the Great Awakening. And, seeing flying objects is so exciting to us because it's so different, and we can actually see it with our real eyes, and in meditation we can connect and have conversations with beings from not this world. How do you say that?
Other world.
From other worlds, and it is exciting. It is to learn other cultures, other interdimensional beings. It's so exciting. It's nothing to be scared of. They're here to help us grow as a planet, because we've been held in a density for so long.
Yeah, and I think, for the average person, what you need to do is to just start to allow yourself to dare to entertain this idea that there's things outside our closed little reality. In other words, what we see, hear, feel through our physical senses, that is just a really small fraction of what is going on in this world around us right now. So once you start to let go of, if I can't see it or hear it, it mustn't exist. There's that saying, once your mind's been stretched by a big idea, it never goes back to its original size. Once you start to stretch that maybe there is a whole lot out there I don't understand, that in itself allows you to be open to new learnings, new understandings, and to realize, guys, that there's probably a whole lot of stuff out there, and so many people are now starting to share and get downloads and channel information from ETs, from higher realms, from all sorts of different Palladians and Galactic Federations and Syrian sources and all sorts of things, sending down information to the Earth, which all has a common thread of, we care for you, we love you, we want to help you to elevate your consciousness, to be better as human beings, to look after one another, to not damage your planet, to not damage each other. And as you pull yourself out of all that old 3D sort of stuff and elevate, your planet will heal, your civilization will heal, and your consciousness will elevate. And I think, on that point, do some research, keep looking and studying, and we'll be back with another journal update real soon.
Bye.